This is the Nassauman Hockey Podcast with James Nichols and Jon Zella.
And welcome back to the Nassauman Hockey Podcast. I'm James Nichols, and with me, as always, is Jon Zella. What's up, pal?
Not a whole lot. It is sweater weather here in central New York. So if you're watching on the video version here, I'm in a beautiful cardigan.
Not in Staten Island, everybody's favorite island. JK.
Everybody's favorite island. Jesus Christ.
Today it was warm, and I'm
it was a little
understanding
warm.
what's going on, because I'm like, I have been wearing, hoodies and sweaters for a couple, I would say 2 weeks now. I'm like, why do I have to go back to a t-shirt? This is making me uncomfortable.
It was warm for November here. I'm worried we haven't had any snow, like even a dusting. It's been frosty.
Why does that worry you?
Usually we use something by now. Like
so
even
but why are you worried?
I don't know. It makes me feel like it's saving up for like a big storm or something.
It's building up to just a huge storm. I'm gonna be stuck in my house for a week.
Yeah, because I mean, because I know how science works, and that sounds right. So,
oh God,
no.
Well, not the scientist over here.
Neither of us.
No.
It did snow quite a bit, not very far from here, like within an hour north of here. Some not insignificant snow, like stuck on the ground snow. It's probably melted by now, but yeah, it's cold. Central New York.
Yeah, I can't lie. My wife has already started decorating for Christmas as of today.
My girlfriend is like, "Where are your lights? We need to make it holiday-y." And
yeah, so
and I don't have any decorations, so I feel bad.
Oh boy, I feel like you're about to have some decorations.
She has tried. It hasn't stuck. Luckily, I have like the little icicle lights, so I think that's about as far as I'm gonna go. Per usual.
The most wonderful time of the year is upon us, and I just that's my favorite time of the year. So I can't. I mean, aside from the start of hockey season, which is
actually our favorite time of the year is 10 days away from the publishing of this episode. A great segue
into a bunch of news that happened today. Let's start with the down end, and then we'll trend upward. How's that sound?
I don't know what that means, but go for it.
So there was a circulation of a document by UBS Arena that was going around saying that the honking and tailgating in the parking lot will not be permitted. And that's just pretty much what Islander fans do. So
I think it's in our DNA. I don't know how to. I think if I'm in my car leaving the parking lot, my hands just honk the horn. Let's go, Islanders! Like I don't know how to. I can't drive out of that park. I mean, you're there long enough. In the Coliseum parking lot. I don't know what it's going to be like leaving UBS. I don't imagine it's any better. Having driven out of a number of parking lots and stadiums before.
Yeah.
I imagine that won't just be solved. They didn't figure out the Rubik's Cube that is stadium parking lots, I'm sure. I'm sure.
What's going to happen? You're going to honk the horn and there's hands in the air. You're under arrest for honking your horn.
I mean, I'll say this. I think on both fronts, they can't be like, oh, yeah, we encourage this. Like, they obviously have to get in front of it, as they did, almost 2 weeks before, and be like, hey, respect our neighbors, blah, blah, blah. I think they have to say that. I don't think they can be like, oh, yeah, go nuts. Just, yeah, totally honk the shit out of your horn. Hang out in the parking lot. Go Buffalo Bills ham on a table. Like, I don't think they can say that as much as maybe they want to, save for Lamoriello. Yeah, I imagine they just have to say that.
I would bet money, and if we were any good at this podcasting thing, we would have known this before we started the show. But I would bet money that it says the same thing in the handbook for the Nassau Coliseum. And
didn't somebody say there wasn't tailgating going to happen last season when games came back? I'm pretty sure, I feel like that's a thing.
It's probably a thing. I mean,
Yeah.
you could also take into account because of, the whole pandemic and everything. So maybe that was the reason. Maybe it wasn't because it was a rule for the Coliseum, but more because of the state of the world. But
Point being, it still took place. I'm
exactly.
sure.
Right. So it's like, okay. Like, it's in the handbook, but I'm going to put money on it that it's still going to happen.
Yeah, I think that's safe. And you can make that bet at DraftKings. Use that THPN promo code.
Wow, look at you.
That's
You're on a
not
roll tonight.
I wish this is where we put the ad, but it doesn't hurt to put it in early. There won't be any bets on this specifically, but if you can use that THPN promo code.
For sure. Let's talk about our good friend who we had on the show at the very beginning of the fruition of Nassauman hockey, if you will.
I thought about that and I was like, oh, wow, this is like we're in season 3. Like that was so long ago. That was not even 2 years ago.
I know. Can you believe it?
No.
Episode 85.
I'm incredulous, some might say.
Yeah. That's a good word. I'm going to hop on that word with you.
Yeah, I like that one. It was a word of the day a few days ago on my little calendar on my desk. I'm just kidding. It is a good word to throw out every once in a while. But continue. I'm sorry. Our friend.
No, yeah. So our good friend, and like we said, if you want to go through the archives of the show and check out our interview with Nick Costa of Costa of Offside Tavern, the Islanders just announced a partnership with Offside Tavern, and his bar will now be inside the arena. And God, I gotta say, I saw the news and it gave me chills for him because, like I said, friend of the show. We've had contacts with him. We've spoken both professionally and personally, and I felt so many emotions for him when they had to close their doors. Right, they were in Manhattan. But the community was relentless, and they had fun with it too. They meaning Offside. It's probably just Nick who runs the Offside account, but they had fun with it too. And quote tweeted UBS Arena tweets, and there was one from a while ago when they were still at the beginning of construction, where there was a picture taken. It was captioned, "This is going to be an Islanders themed bar," and they quote tweeted it and were like, "How many retweets for an Offside Tavern here?" And well, fast forward to today, and here we are, and that's exactly what it is. So, I'm just through. I'm over the moon for Nick. I can't believe
through
that
the
this
moon.
is. I was gonna say through the roof. And I was like, no, I think it's over the moon. So I'm over the moon for Nick.
You could be both.
Yeah, through the roof. I think I have to get through the roof to get over the moon, right?
Both. Yeah, you just launching out of your seat.
It's gonna be one of those nights, I think. Yeah, but totally over the moon for Nick.
We don't have any editors, so this is great.
I'm the editor.
Just
me.
Raw. Like I said, it's just raw data coming at you, getting uploaded to the internet. What better? But yeah, I think it's awesome that the Islanders continue to kind of be. I think we said this last week. They're listening. They're connected to the fans, and between Blue Line Deli, Offside Tavern, I gotta get one of those Offside Tavern shirts.
Yeah, me too.
I gotta figure it out. That might be a lot of fans' only connection to the Fisherman in real time. That's not like a remake of something.
Yeah, it's probably a good point.
which is pretty cool. So yeah, I ditto everything that you said. Happy for him. I think that's other than the through the moon part. It's really cool to kind of see that comeback story for him.
Yeah.
Reflective of the franchise, if you will. So yeah, it's obviously just a good story.
Super cool story. More partnerships, and that is the next one is with Shaquille O'Neal. This was an interesting one when it came across my email, and I saw that, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting partnership that they're going to be having. But yeah, Shaquille O'Neal's Big Chicken is going to make their New York Metro debut at UBS Arena on November 11th. So that's cool. I mean, I think they're going to make a sandwich with Blue Line Deli, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that in the release?
Yeah. Yeah.
I do. I hope Shaq comes to an Islander game or TNT. The next time TNT. I'm all right. Sorry. This is where editing would work great. Calling all video editors or audio editors. Are the Islanders on TNT? And is that game at home? Because I would be willing to bet Shaq shows up for that.
That'd be pretty cool.
Like Charles
honestly.
Barkley style. He
I would
shows
love
up.
that.
He's gotta. That makes too much sense. That's fantastic marketing. I should do this
that
for
would
a
be
living.
Cool. But the release does say, it says O'Neal will be joined by representatives from UBS Arena, Delaware North, and the arena's food service provider, and Huntington, New York-based Blue Line Deli and Bagels, which collaborated with Big Chicken on a specialty sandwich for the arena. So that's really cool. More cool things happening at UBS Arena. We haven't even gotten there yet. It's not even open.
It's not even open. We're all really excited. By March 27th, Tampa Bay at New York Islanders, NHL and TNT. Willing to bet Shaq's in the building.
I hope so.
If not sooner, but that one makes
that one.
Whole heck of a lot
that
of
one makes
sense.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of UBS Arena, we are just 10 nights away from the doors opening for a hockey game at UBS Arena. That is just, it's been such a long time coming now. Like for a while, I'm like, oh yeah, the arena's going to open, in a while. It's going to be in a while. It's going to be in a while. It's all I kept saying. It's going to be a while. Now it's like, well, no, it's next week.
I think I've said this before, and as much as I'm going to miss their former home, I am very happy it's fun between Barclays and this thing, and I'm happy for it to just be over.
Yeah.
To move on, to create new memories. So I'm not going to stop watching old videos and get nostalgic or whatever, but it's very nice to be able to kind of create some new memories. I am planning to go. I don't know what your plans are. I want to go in December just because that's the next time I'm around.
Yeah.
On the 23rd against the Caps.
Okay.
I believe. Thursday the 23rd. So maybe NHP. We'll hook up with Mikey. Maybe we'll do a meetup or something.
Yeah.
In the arena at Offside Tavern. Look at this.
There are so many possibilities. There are endless. The possibilities are endless.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. I'm excited to go to the new arena. I'm excited to see the live hockey again.
Yeah.
In general, true. I think that'll be really fun.
How long's it been for you?
That's a really great question. I feel like I was at a Crunch game. This is 2020. I don't think I went to a game earlier in that year. All right. My last game, my last Islander game, probably last live hockey game, was in Dallas. The Islanders were playing in Dallas in December 2019.
Wow.
That's probably, so it would be almost 2 years to the day. December 23rd would be pretty close. I think I went in mid-December. Whenever that game was, we can look up the schedule from 1920 season. But yeah, that was my last game.
Wow. Yeah, I'm looking forward to you getting back into the action, because that'll be a long time coming for you, pal.
Yeah. When was yours?
Game 6 against the Bruins last season.
So lucky.
Yeah, I was there.
It's like when I think about like, oh, where should I live one day and this and that. I'm like, I really want to go to more Islander games. Huh. Makes me want to move back south there for a second. Yeah. And then I think about traffic for a moment, and it's terrible. Just
and then it all goes away, and
it all.
anymore.
I'm like, I really love the Islanders, but I also love my blood pressure not just shooting through the roof all the time because everywhere that I go, don't need that. That's no good. So, yeah, I do want. I think planning some kind of Toronto trip in January to see the Islanders there. We'll go make sure I see them in Buffalo at some point as well. So I get my fix one way or another. My Isles fix, if you will.
If you will.
That'd be a great newsletter name.
Look at all these plugs that you got going on tonight.
I feel okay. I feel it was the soup. I think it's the soup I had.
What kind of soup did you have?
Tortilla soup.
Nailed
it.
Sounds good.
Nailed it. I found this good recipe. I want to add potatoes to it next time. I will not be able to make that on a Tuesday, or I will not be awake. I will fall right asleep if I do that. That would be way too heavy. But yeah, tortilla soup. That's my jam.
Before we talk about hockey, it's No Shave November for you 12 months a year. How's my stash coming, though? Not bad, right? Come on.
You have the right face shape for a mustache.
Get out of here.
It's not. I think a lot of people do it. I think a lot of people can pull off a mustache. Beards are. I think I'm just a snob about it. But you have a good face. You have a good face shape for just the mustache. I think you should shave the beard, like clean it up
completely, and just leave
the mustache.
My wife will kill me. She hates it. But I told her, I said, I don't care. It's staying on for the month of November to raise awareness.
Do you have an account? Did you make a Movember account?
I did.
Plug away. What's the donation link?
I have to look it up. I'll post it on Twitter.
Okay, because I did that.
We'll do that.
Jeez, I did it like 9 years ago. I was in graduate school. This is before mustaches became cool again.
Yeah,
where it was like things going on. So I was just like 22 with a mustache in a university office, and it was just going in there. I was like, "What happened to your face? What the hell?" And my beard wasn't. I didn't keep a long beard at that time, so it was like mostly stubble. And then all of a sudden, it was just mustache, and people were like, "Ooh, you go back to your van, get out of here."
Oh man!
But I did raise a few $100s. I recruited a bunch of people, a bunch of friends to kind of get on board. We raised some money for that, and it was fun. Everyone has a mustache period in their life. You go back to in these photos and say, "What the hell? What was that?"
I told my wife I want to grow it longer and then get the wax and twirl it.
See, I don't know
you
if
could
you
do
can
that.
See it on the. Oh yeah, I don't. I'm going the wrong way because this camera's the other way. But yeah, we can.
You should get that wax and start twirling it.
Looking for a sponsor, for a mustache sponsor. I do have stuff. I don't like putting it. If you have to put a lot on, it just makes me feel like I just rubbed a slice of pizza on my face. Like there's so much oil on my face that George Bush is going to start a war over it.
Oh my god!
Like I hate that. I stole that joke, by the way.
Oh,
it's
I saw it on
that
before.
It's funny as hell. I don't care.
It is
at all.
Quite funny.
But yeah, I don't like doing it. It makes me feel like I need to wash my face immediately.
Yeah, no. I don't
so I use an oil and like stuff, but I don't. The waxy situation just makes me feel like I need to shower.
Yeah. I could definitely understand that. It's like when I get a new tattoo, I hate the process where I have to leave the Aquaphor on it because then I can't put my arm down anywhere. I feel.
That's true. I use A&D on mine.
Yeah, same thing. Kind of.
I don't know the difference. I can't. Yes. Whatever they tell you. One tattoo artist told me to do that, and now it's gospel.
Oh, of course.
I will never change it.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone tells me about dry healing or what. Like everyone does something different.
Yeah.
Leaves it on for this minute. This much. I don't. They all look the same after. I've treated them all pretty much the same. They look okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I tend to think my method that, like, same as you, was told once and now it's gospel.
Works schedule something.
I have. I just got one canceled on me because my artist is going away. Selfish. No, I'm just kidding. She's going to Salem. So I have
Tattoo
to
artist
wait
going to
another month.
Salem is tracks
That's
too well.
That sounds new, right? Who does that?
Every tattoo. I think they have to do that.
I think right. It's part of their initiation.
Between October 1st and December 1st, they have to go to Salem.
Oh God! All right, what are we talking about? 20 minutes in. Let's talk about some hockey. How about that?
Sure. I think people want to hear just like good conversation. I've noticed that about other shows where I'm like, they're chatting, and yeah, I want to hear about.
Yeah,
hockey.
of course.
I think that's important, but they're like, they're friends. They're having a conversation. I think that's just as important to the show.
No, yeah, I'm not.
But
I'm not telling you, hey, I don't want to talk to you anymore. But we do have a show to get to.
You just sent me that in the private chat, so that's
yeah.
Right,
you would hear my keyboard.
I know.
Yeah. So don't try to put me out there like that. Huh?
All right, we do have plenty of Islanders.
Yeah.
That,
finally a busy week. I should say tail end of a week, right? Thursday, Saturday,
or
Sunday.
Just nothing for like 11 days, and then it's like, oh yeah, there's 3 games in 4 nights. How's that? And then another 4 days off.
Yeah.
Why don't we
real
just
quick
why don't we
though,
do that
before we get into the recaps? We're 10 games in now. Doesn't seem like it. Feels like we played maybe 2, but it's 10. I gotta ask, which one Islander to this point has impressed you the most thus far? Save Sorokin.
Okay, well,
because I think that's everybody's answer. And if I asked you who impressed you the least, I think we'd all say Charles. So I'll save that for maybe the end of the year. But save Sorokin. Who's been the most impressive to you?
that's a really good question.
Chock full of them.
Do you have an answer?
I have, yes, an answer for me.
I want to hear your answer as I mull it over. It's like it's asking somebody to order first, but then you order the same thing and you feel like you copied them.
Yeah.
So
I feel you. If I had to pick just one Islander, I'm going with Wahlstrom all the way.
I could have guessed that. That was a.
You know what? I was torn. I really was. I was really torn because despite not having any point or any goals and a couple of points, Zach Parise has really impressed me too. And I really wanted to say Parise, but as a second-year pro who hasn't yet played a full season, Wahlstrom is playing like a guy who's been there, done that before, and I didn't think his shot could get better, and it is. He's scoring some goals that I'm like, I'm not just like, oh, that was, okay, he got a piece of that. Like, no, Wahlstrom is scoring with authority, and he's not just good in his own end. He's doing it in all 3 zones. So he's just been very impressive to me. If I wasn't going to say Wahlstrom, I was going to say Parise. Parise has been fantastic. I know he hasn't scored any goals, but the chances have been there. And we'll talk about that a little bit later too. But yeah, those are my picks. I only one though for me, it's Wahlstrom.
I think that's a good pick. I mean, he's your guy. I think that's
you know what?
Been clear for a while. You had high expectations for him.
Yes,
he's meeting them. I think. I mean, it's what's he at he's at a 40 goal pace
41
now?
goal pace.
41 goals.
The thing for me is, Trotz in preseason said like, his camp's been okay. He could be better. And he was like, okay, yeah, no problem. Got it.
Yeah. He's definitely up there for me. He when I wrote in the preseason, when I wrote the 3 players that I thought the Islanders needed to 3 Islander players that I thought were key this season that weren't your regular, the stars, the ones we're expecting. Wahlstrom was one of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
My pick, though, was somebody else on my list.
I know where this is going.
Anthony Beauvillier.
Yeah. That's a good pick.
I think, and the last few games, he's had the wheels going. And that was like classic Beauvillier.
Yeah. I really like that you said that too, because you know, I was live tweeting the game and I had made a comment on, you know, Beauvillier making a good play. And somebody had said to me, you know, that was very similar to somebody else that's been skating around on the ice, you know, basically circles around everyone. I was like, yeah, Beauvillier's got a little bit of Barzell in him. He's Barzell-esque. So
Well, you learn and you watch and you
yeah,
see what works, and they don't. I mean, they're very different skating styles, and I don't have the professional acumen to describe the difference between them, but just on the eye test, that different skating styles. But what Beauvillier's learned is to use some of that open space from Barzell, and the kind of the twisting and the turning. Um, Something that I was taught. Like, I was never a technical stick handler. I'm not one of those like phone booth guys that can get out of
right.
everything, but I was get out of traffic, find your way in the offensive zone, kind of the tight twists and turns. So I can respect that from somebody that kind of made when I played something that I was very good at. Or I thought I was very good at anyway. But he's somebody 7 points in 10 games.
Yeah.
Lately has picked it up. He needs to be that secondary scoring for the Islanders.
No,
The other
100%.
guys have picked it up. You have Wallstrom now there in that area. Palmieri's a little slow this season. Peugeot's a little slow this season. Bailey in the goal scoring department, it's not where we really want him to be. So Beauvillier kind of stepping up into that role, and Nelson as of late. I think the 7 goals in 10 games is a little bloated considering 4 of them came in one game, but someone's got to score. You got, it comes in bunches, and hopefully it kind of creates some momentum for him. But yeah, Beauvillier for me, he was somebody important. He's somebody I'm keeping an eye on because Barzell's going to score goals. He's going to get points. Wallstrom's going to do the same thing. Anders Lee of late, 4 goals or 3 goals in the last 3 games, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
I guess since the last podcast, he's had 3 goals, which is amazing. Something to that effect.
Yeah.
Those guys are going to score. You need them to score. But in the playoffs, when it's tight, when it is a tight game, that's when you need Beauvillier. He scored a power play goal recently. Yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah, no, that's a great pick. So Wallstrom and Beauvillier, and that's great news for the Islanders that those are the most impressive thus far, because like you said, your usuals, Lee, Barzell, they're going to do their thing, but the supporting cast is really where good teams become great teams. So this is good news moving forward for the Islanders at this point. Now let's talk about the week that was. Montreal, Winnipeg, and Minnesota. Islanders went 2-1 in that 3-game span. And let's start with Montreal, a 6-2 victory. Another great performance for Ilya Sorokin. They really did what a top team in this league should do against a team who's a bottom dweller. And as weird as that is to say about the Canadians, who were in the Stanley Cup final last season, that's just what they are right now. They're not clicking. They're missing a lot of key players. It's nice to see Carey Price is coming back, and he spoke out about what he was going through a little bit, which is great to see.
Yes, please go read that.
Absolutely. But they're getting him back, which hopefully that helps them moving forward. But again, at the time when they played the Canadians, they're a bottom dweller, and you want to see the Islanders manhandle them, which they did for 55 minutes, I'll say. The last 5 minutes, let their foot off the gas a little bit. They scored 2 goals, and, Sorokin should have had another shutout.
And Trotz has said as much. He said, that won't be happening again. He was trying to get some guys some power play time, and things like that. The shorthanded goal, not a great look. And he said that will not be happening again. He's gonna keep it,
put it on himself.
I think as a coach, that's what you're gonna do. You have to take credit for things on both ends that you're not responsible for. Whether you're responsible for it or not, you have to take ownership of it.
Right.
So all the good stuff he gets to take ownership of. He's a genius. The bad stuff too, even if it's not his fault, he has to own it. I think the players do that too. I think there's accountability on and behind the bench for the Islanders, and he's leading by example. This is he made the mistake. Although the players should know they're on a power play and, take care of business and not be lackadaisical, as an old coach used to say. But yeah, I think overall that was closer to Islander hockey, and that they're kind of slowly building momentum as they go this season, as hard as it is with all this time off. And something else that Trotz had said, that just something to keep that energy up, you're going to have these mental lapses. They really showed in that game and the next game that they were keeping it together. They were focused despite all of that. As we said last week, it wasn't the road trip itself wasn't so much of the problem as much as it was keeping focused during their time off. So I liked what I saw out of that game. Nothing surprised me. They're a good team. That's the Nelson 4-goal game.
Yes, it is.
So it was good to see him break out.
It's Brovember.
It's Brovember. It's whatever you want to call it.
Neltober.
Oh man, did you see?
No, Nelvember.
Did you see? Yes Men Outfitters.
Oh, Brockbuster.
Brockbuster.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Jesus, that leave it to the pros, kids. We were trying to come up with trying to be funny, but he knows what he's doing over there. So leave it to him. But yeah. I mean, so I think that's good. He had a slower October than normal.
Yeah,
and they didn't play a ton of games. They are like between 1 and 4 games behind everybody as far as games played in the division, which is really good, because if we feel like they're having a slow start through 13 games, other teams have played 15, 16, 17 games by then.
Yeah.
So they have
games in hand with a bunch of home games towards the end of the season is a great thing to have.
And a break, which they seem to do well on the other side of, after February.
Yep.
So I think that's good. Yes. Canadians, that was a fairly complete game with, I guess we can call it a coaching lapse, although I'd put some of that or most of it on the players. You're on the power play, don't screw around, don't find out.
Well, it wasn't your usual power play unit.
Yeah, but you're still a hockey player and it's a power play.
Fair point.
And most of them,
a professional hockey player.
Most of them, save for Chara, are on the power play regularly. That line was just not a power play line. It was a regular line.
Right.
It was still the second line.
Right.
They're all on a power play unit, just not together. That doesn't mean anything.
Not wrong. You're not wrong.
4 out of 5 guys on the ice, because Chara's partner is Pulak now. So 4 out of 5 guys are power play guys. I don't want to hear that shit. Do what you got to do out there. You know what's going on. Another thing my coaches used to say, and I'm sure a lot of players remember hearing this, they hot dogged it out there. They were up quite a bit, and they were hot dogging it.
They hot dogged it. I like that.
I don't know what that means. I know what it looks like. I don't know how to describe that to not hockey people. It's lackadaisical. They just kind of, they were out. It was, and my mom used to call, when I didn't have a good game, she's like, you were figure skating out there. You were there for a skate. You weren't hungry for the puck. You weren't doing anything. That's what that power play looked like. They were they were just out there for, they were, I don't say hard on me, but yeah, they were like, they didn't have a good game. They were like, yeah, that wasn't good. Man, my grandpa let me have it.
You expect to make the pros like that, kid?
No, he's like, that's. I mean, this is a guy that grew up playing baseball and football, so he doesn't know the first thing. He used to call Rick DiPietro DiPietri, which was just the funniest thing I've ever. My brother and I still, there's a bunch of things he just didn't say correctly. That was one of them. That's the Islanders one.
DiPietri, forever Rick DiPietri.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's very funny. I hope he did it on purpose. Yeah. I'll never know, but I hope he did it on purpose. But yes, they were hot dogging it.
Yeah. Well, moving to Saturday, hot dogs no more. 2-0 shutout for Ilya Sorokin once again. His 9th straight start. 9 straight starts for this guy. And he put up another goose egg. 26 save performance. Listen, he didn't have a ton of action in front of him. He made the saves he had to make, but he also made the saves that he shouldn't have made. So, really good night for him once again. There's this buzz going around. Like, is he the starter now? Is Varlamov the backup? We'll talk about Sorokin in a little while, but that's a very hard question to answer right now.
Yeah.
Back to
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you
No,
go.
in the Jets game, just as you said, he didn't get a ton of action. I think the Islanders had like 20 blocks.
Probably.
So it's not like the Jets didn't have attempts. That was and last week I think you asked about a certain game and it was the best of the Islanders season. I was like, I guess so far, but that's not what I think of when I see Islander hockey. It was the
19 blocks,
best,
by the way. You were right.
Yeah, 19 blocks. I remember a Trotz quote where he said 19 or 20, so I couldn't remember if I didn't bother to fact check the guy because figured he was right. But this game, that game against the Jets was Islander hockey to a T. That was what we want to see. Low 20 shots on net against. They did what they had to do offensively. 2 goals. They locked it down. They looked good. They looked confident. That's what you want to see. No faltering in their game. Not too many mistakes that I can think of off the top of my head. North south, nothing too fancy. The right guys were going. Lee gets another one. Yeah, or he got his second of the season or something in that game.
Yeah,
and then he had one the following night in Minnesota as well.
Right.
So yeah, I think, and it showed like Kyle Connor was on a tear.
Yeah,
to start the season. He's like 15 points in 10 games or something crazy like that, or maybe more. So to shut him down just completely, no one really got a good look. There was not a lot of action, but they had a lot of puck possession, the Jets. Everything's to the outside. Heard Butch say that a number of times on the broadcast. A lot of puck possession, no shots to the net. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No, it was a true Islander game. It was they stuck to the system, the Barrett Trotz system, and they worked the Jets. They frustrated the Jets, I should say. Kyle Connor especially. I mean, man, Kyle. It's not to say that they didn't get chances because they did, and Kyle Connor must have been seeing Ilya Sorokin in his nightmares because he was just. It was a brick wall. There was no getting by him that night, and I think Connor himself had at least 3 or 4 shots. So and 2 of them were like, I don't know, any other goaltender that was probably a goal. But yeah, Sorokin was just fantastic. The thing I liked most about this game, aside from Sorokin's performance, was the quick start. They scored 3 minutes in, held that lead, and then they slammed the door shut quickly at the start of the third period. Another Brock Nelson goal. He was sprung for, I think it was a 2-on-1, opted to shoot, and beat Comrie clean. So,
and Comrie's been good this season.
He has,
and he was great in that game. That was
he was really good.
I thought there was a lot of attempts, and both goalies had to be good. The shots that got through were very, I think, I wouldn't say high danger. I don't know I didn't look it up, and it was what I'm saying. But that was a goalie duel. I thought both goalies are really good. I was afraid of the Jets just popping in too, and then it just being a tough game to watch from there, like a nail biter. That was I thought that was a really good game from that perspective alone. But as it went on, I felt really confident. Like we said, that was a very good just Islander game.
Remember when the stigma was, when Sorokin's in net, the team doesn't play well in front of him, they're not confident. It's like, how could that can't be now? It's not a thing. He just gives them the best chance to win every single night. And that's nothing against Varlamov. He was just the only chance. They didn't see a lick of Schneider. So at that time, Varlamov wasn't healthy.
Yeah, I mean, when you're forced to play in front of somebody, you learn pretty quick. And it's not like he didn't play. He won a playoff series for them last year. He played 21 games last year in the regular season. They know this guy. The team as a whole started poorly. They got better in front of him. He got better as it went on. Frankly, buoyed them and then catapulted them forward. Right. So now they're playing confident. They can ease Varlamov back in to move on to the Wild game. I thought the first period and the second period were okay for the Islanders. So the wheels just kind of came off in the third. I don't know that any. Do you think there were any goals that were his fault in particular? Because 2 of them were empty nets, so it was just the one.
Correct. Yeah, the third goal, the goal that gave the Wild the lead, he's gonna want that one back. It was just a clean shot that beat him. I guess he didn't see it. Maybe it was, a skate got in front of it and he didn't see the release and he just couldn't track it. But it didn't appear to me like anybody was standing in front of him. It seemed like it was a pretty standard shot that probably should have just been gloved down. So, but listen, it was his first game of the year. Islanders lose 5-2. We know that. It's probably a game that should have had 2 points, and it's not on Varlamov. It's not his fault. The Islanders didn't do him any favors. He had a 14 save first period in his first game back. So
yeah, he did look good. I was not fazed at the score going into the nearing the halfway point of the game and moving forward. I did feel pretty good because Minnesota didn't look great. There was nothing about them. I mean, Kaprizov looks awesome with the puck all the time, but no one else really is that impressive. Just looking at them, I don't know game scores or Corsi or anything like that as far as just whatever, but no one looked particularly dangerous. So it's definitely something the Islanders can kind of. They need to, I think they have short memories. They have to. There's too much time to dwell on games between their games at this point. It'll get easier in the next few weeks as things pick up. They can just kind of forget. They can take what's good and leave behind the rest. What did Pantorno say? Burn the tape.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to do that. I don't think you burn the entire tape for that because I think there's a lot of good stuff.
Sure.
You're also on the back end of a back-to-back. Varlamov's first game. Too many good excuses.
Yeah.
Listen,
Minnesota was too, though.
Minnesota was too, save for the goaltender part. But the Islanders have also not played a lot of games. There's 3 and 4 nights. Like I said, I don't like feeling like I'm making up excuses for them.
No, yeah.
This is coming. But,
yeah,
it lines up and you could take it into consideration at the very least.
I mean, you felt that, turn of the tide happening in the third period when I think the Islanders were outshot like 16-3. So
there are those spells, and I know that it's a thing that happens to the Islanders, right?
Yeah,
they have to. And I know that's the.
I don't think that was the game that Trotz said that they lacked the killer instinct, slamming the door shut. I think that was a different game. It might have been against Nashville, but same goes for this game, right? They had the 2-1 lead in the going into the third period, and ultimately they just lost it. They fell apart. They didn't keep their legs moving. They didn't control the puck. They didn't control the game. So, Hartman scores that game-tying goal, and then suddenly, 2 minutes later, on the nose, Duhaime puts them in the lead. And then you have the empty net goals, which is what it is. But yeah, it's just, they, like Trotz said, they lack that killer instinct, the ability to shut the door, which they had in Winnipeg the night before.
Yeah. I mean, some of that is just going to be getting the reps, getting it all figured out when you're playing a little more often, but
I mean,
they actually have to do it.
It's not like,
right.
Not worried about it.
Right. I'm not worried about it. They are getting there, and I assume that they'll get it all figured out in fairly short order here.
Hey everyone, we just want to take a quick break to talk to you about our sponsors over at DraftKings. The NHL season is underway, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, has an unbelievable offer to celebrate the greatest sport on ice. New customers can bet just $1 on any NHL game and win $100 in free bets if either team scores a goal. Doesn't matter if it's a one-timer or a deflection, however they light the lamp, you win. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, DraftKings won't leave you empty-handed. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes all season long with DraftKings daily fantasy sports contests. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. So here's what you do. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now, use promo code THPN, throw down $1 on any NHL game, and win $100 in free bets if either team scores a goal. This week, one puck in the net nets you a big win with promo code THPN at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Must be 21 years or older, New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. NHP is also brought to you by Manscaped. This holiday season, I'm giving thanks to our friends at Manscaped. Do I tell my extended family that I have the Performance Package 4.0 from the global leaders in the below-the-waist grooming? Not to mention, it includes their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer to tame my bush and score brownie points with the in-laws. Gift yourself Manscaped, or the man in your life who needs it. Join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with 20% off and free shipping with code NHP20 by going to manscaped.com. You think your holiday spread is good? It's time to give thanks to the Manscaped Performance Package 4.0, or as I like to call it, the perfect package for your package. Listen to this. Their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. It also gives you the ability to turn the 400K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave, plus it's waterproof. For the gifters out there, Manscaped seals the deal with 2 free gifts from in their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. Gifting Manscaped is the ultimate hack to become the family favorite. Get 20% off and free shipping with code NHP20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code NHP20 at manscaped.com. Be thankful this holiday season for the best gift of all from Manscaped. Your balls will thank you. I would love to say it was a busier week this week, but it's now Tuesday night, and you'll be hearing this on Wednesday. Still no games. They play the Devils on Thursday. They'll be off for another 3 nights until next week, when they'll play the Tampa Bay Lightning on Monday and the Florida Panthers on Tuesday. Then 3 days off, and the moment we've all been waiting for on Saturday, when the Islanders take on the Flames at UBS Arena.
Are you going?
That is the schedule ahead. I will be there.
I hate you a little bit.
I will be there. Whether it's as media under the 4th period or sitting next to our good friend Joe Buono, I will be there. So that's the week that was. Let's talk a little bit about Ilya Sorokin before we move on. Like we said earlier, he's just been fantastic in every form of that word. 5-2-0, 1.98 goals against average, 0.939 save percentage, 3 shutouts. And I thought that was going to lead the league when he got his 3rd. And when I looked up the stat, I was surprised to see Markstrom actually had 3 as well. And then, of course, 2 hours later, he got his 4th. So he was tied for the lead in shutouts in the NHL for a few hours. And then Markstrom said, I'm going to take that back. It was against the Rangers. So good for nothing as usual. But the Ilya Sorokin era it's just been fun. I love the nickname that was coined. I think Christian Arnold started it, if I'm not mistaken.
Thrillia.
Thrillia. I love that.
That was
really
Christian
good one.
Arnold, New York Hockey Now, Hockey Night, New York.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that. It's
very fitting. It's very fitting. It's like every time he just Sorokin makes so many saves that you're like, how did that not go in? And it's funny because I remember talking about when Sorokin came over. You and I were doing, I don't know, probably like episode 10. And
we're literally 90 episodes later.
Yeah. And we were talking about like all these highlight reel saves that he makes, and they're like, there's bound to be regression coming over from the KHL to the NHL. I'm sure it's not going to be like that, but he'll be a good starter, right? Yeah, I think so. No, he's doing everything. It's just nothing's changed. I think he's a robot. He might be a robot. It's insane.
He's he's a lot, and I just wrote a piece on why Sorokin is as the team's MVP kind of early in the season here.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's going to be any argument about that. But what I wrote in there was that he's a lot more flamboyant as a goalie in his style than Varlamov, but he doesn't make him any less steady. He's focused.
Yeah.
He just has a different style than what we were used to in some of the goalies over the last few years, especially under Trotz and Korn and Greco.
Right.
His movements are a little more exaggerated. I think I've mentioned before, I wonder how the goaltending coaches feel about that, but they seem to have honed it, and it's no worse for wear. He's figuring it out. So yeah, I think he's doing fine. He should have 5 shutouts.
Yeah,
and
he should.
To think that the Islanders, in all, just like looking at the numbers, they've won 5 and they lost 5. The fact that he has the numbers that he has is amazing. At 5 and 5, more or less.
Yeah,
I understand they got points out of it, but at 5 and 5, those are incredible numbers. The shutouts help, right?
Yeah,
it helps when 30% of your games are 0 goals. Everything looks really good, right? That boosts some stuff, but
yeah,
even in the games that they've lost, it's not like it's been terrible. Like I don't think
save the first 2 games of the season where they gave up like 11 goals in total.
Right. I mean, even Varlamov's numbers, his save percentage was .919.
Right.
In the game, right? He saved 34 out of 37. Your goaltender makes over 30 saves. You got to find a way to win that game.
Yeah, no,
that's not.
totally.
That's not.
He made
that's,
34
that's,
saves.
Yeah, that's not like. Are they capable of making close to 40 saves? Absolutely. They're both more than capable. They've done it on multiple occasions. I feel like we've both wrote about it. It's both been,
Probably,
multiple people have written about it.
Yeah.
You got, at that point, you got to help your goalies. How many shots did they block in the Wild game? If it was a lot lower, that's still not acceptable. The goaltender still got to do. But in that game, it was
18.
18. Okay, that means they were letting a lot more attempts through.
Yeah. Because they had 39 shots.
Yeah, that's considerably more shots through to the net and attempts in general. Which is maybe back into a back-to-back again. That's just a good excuse. I don't really know if that's the truth or whatever. I don't know that anyone would maybe argue either way because it's hard to tell with this team. But yeah, they got to play a little bit better in front of Varlamov, it seems. But like I said, too many good excuses.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Let's get into talking about what's gone well and what hasn't gone well with the Islanders on offense to this point. I guess you could copy and paste what we said about Sorokin in the good category just now. Anything that comes to mind for you as far as what's been good?
Like we said, kind of off the top here, I like how Beauvillier's played. I like Nelson's kind of breakout. Obviously, Wahlstrom. Lee looks fine. He's kind of coming into his own there. No worse for wear from the injury. He's kind of found his way the last few games when the teams needed it. Barzal looks great. Yeah, I mean, that's the broad strokes there.
Yeah.
Power play needs to find a way to be consistent. But when they are moving the puck and they are getting it to the net, it looks really good.
It looks good. It doesn't look like the same old power play.
No.
And that was going to be my point. The power play looks real good.
It does. I think it needs to keep kind of finding its way. What's the percentage right now? What are they at?
I think it's something like 18%. It's nothing crazy.
So like I said, it's in games they've scored 2, which is like amazing. Both units scored 1 a few games ago. I think we mentioned that last week. So that may have been against Nashville or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, they need to find a way to kind of make that. The difference in their games. to kind of highlight the whole thing is usually one goal, right? So
Yeah.
those are the kind of moments. I'm not saying you're going to score a power play goal every single game to ensure you're going to win, but you got to find a way, especially early in a game on a power play, to capitalize on that. They have enough firepower.
Yeah, no, I agree.
They have the ability, so and the skill. Like they have to find a way to do that. You're going to get 4 chances a game. Every once in more than every once in a while, you have to, 1 for 5. You have to make that a thing. It should be almost clockwork.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you at all. The other good thing that I think is going for the Islanders on offense is the fast starts that we mentioned earlier, like the one against Winnipeg. 8 games this season out of 10 that they've scored the first goal. So I think that's huge. Playing with a lead, it was like 50-50 for them. They were the team where if they found themselves behind, it didn't put them in panic mode. They stayed the course and they fought their way back most of the time. But now, we're seeing 80% of games they're playing with a lead. And that's only going to benefit them in the long run, right? Playing with the lead, the statistics are plenty higher for who's going to win the game.
Yeah, you don't need to break the mold. Like, you don't need to be the team that comes back all the time. Like, that's only impressive when you need it to be. Don't make it a habit.
Yeah.
So, play from ahead, get that confidence boost. When you're playing at home, all those home games, it'll be great scoring first. You'll get all that momentum from the crowd. But, definitely make that a habit. And it makes you know that you can score goals when you are behind because they know how they can play. And this has been largely the same team that played that way. So now they have both weapons.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's been good for them on offense regarding the power play and the early starts and the stroke of the brush players that we mentioned earlier, Barzal, Lee, and now you have Wahlstrom added to that mix. Beauvillier has been really good. But what's been bad to you? I see what you mentioned here. I want you to get that thought out because I do want to talk about that a little bit.
Bailey, Palmieri, Parise, no goals. Parise is playing really well. I know you have a whole thing on that, so I won't spill the beans. But the 3 of them, they need to find a way to. Palmieri was sniffing the last 3 games. He's real close. Got stoned a couple times. He's getting in tight. He's finding his way to those areas with the puck. I think he's on the cusp. He really just needs one off his ass, off his head, off whatever the toe of his skate, the toe of his stick. I don't care. He needs to just get one. Dirty goal. Just break the dam. Get that confidence. That's it. After the first one, it's it's a whole different evening.
Yeah,
but it's that he really. I think Parise the same thing.
Sure.
Bailey's been good passing. So I don't think he's playing bad. I think he's finding his way on that first line. Frankly, I think he's helping make that first line. Who knew they needed a passer? You thought that was Barzal, but he can.
I think Barzal is leading the team in shots, which is shocking to me because I would have pegged it to be Wahlstrom. That kid is seemingly shooting the puck every chance he gets. But Barzal's leading the team with 32 shots. Dennis Nelson with 30 and Wahlstrom with 27.
Yeah, so I think that's good to have Bailey on that first line. He's got good vision. He finds the way to get pucks out. He had a great assist to Lee in one of these games. I can't remember exactly. Barzal hard on the forecheck, that speed, gets that puck, finds it. I don't think he got an assist on the play, which is interesting. But hard on the forecheck, he made someone make a mistake at the very least. Bailey found that mistake and helped Lee capitalize on it. So he does have that ability. I don't want to kind of put him in that bad offensive bin 100%, but he has 1 goal so far. He's capable of scoring more than that. He is more of an assist man, so I guess that works. But it is not as fast of a start as we'd like to see from somebody like that and in his position. 6 points in 10 games. It's okay, but I think there's room, especially playing on that top line. But Palmieri, that might be the no passes. He might be the only one of the three where I can't think of an excuse.
So I get we're talking about what's been bad on offense here. And yeah, no goals for both Parise and Palmieri doesn't sound great, right? Through 10 games. But I just can't complain about Parise. And frankly, I can't complain about Palmieri either. They've both been just working their asses off every shift. Like Palmieri's all over the ice when he's on the ice. And same goes for Parise. There's been a couple of instances where Parise should have had a goal. And it just happened to be that the opposing goaltender just made a really good save. And you know, it's going to come. And when it does, I can't see it not coming in bunches. Like Parise is all over the freaking ice. He's the hardest working Islander out there. Hands down.
I can't take that away from him. And you're
I
totally not wrong.
And I can't say Palmieri's far behind on that either. Palmieri is he's a thorn in every team side. He's a Brad Marchand light, I want to say.
I don't know that I can't believe I'm saying this. I don't think he has the same finesse, but it could be.
Well, that's why he's light. He's not. Yeah. He doesn't have the finesse, right? I was just scrolling through Twitter a couple minutes ago, and I saw this ridiculous play that Brad Marchand made where he was just skating circles around people. Palmieri's not going to do that, but he's a thorn in your side. He works hard, and he's in your face, and he's going to score goals. I understand that we're talking about right now. He doesn't have any in 10 games, but he will. He's going to get there. Like we said, once the dam breaks, he's going to be fine. And he's playing well. It's not like he's not playing well.
I think this is purely these guys need to find a way to get points. When you're scoring 2 goals a game, the last 2 games, you need some other guys to step up. You had a huge game from Nelson that kind of bloats that a little bit against the Canadians, one being an empty net. You kind of need to start to see up and down the lineup more of that balanced scoring.
Right.
So I can revise this a little bit, and I'll say Pajot and Palmieri.
Yeah.
You like to see Parise get something, right? I think for just his own sake, to get that monkey off his back. But Pajot and Palmieri, again, not playing poorly their overall game.
I think I agree more with Pajot.
You just need to find a way to score a goal here. Pajot's had his moments. You forget how fast he is. He jumps on pucks. He's winning faceoffs. He's teaching Wallstrom that two-way game, and we kind of have to remember that. Parise on that line is teaching him that north-south kind of hard-nosed game. And then he's got his own really good instincts as far as shooting the puck. So that's fine, right? That doesn't mean that Pajot doesn't need to score some goals here and start getting some points. Same goes for Palmieri. That second line, if you have 2 other guys there that are finding a way to score, you need to get into that mix there. Yeah. He does have 5 assists, so it's not like he's not doing something. Second highest plus minus on the team, so he's clearly, again, that stat's really flawed, but it's indicative of something to some degree.
Right, because Josh Bailey's a -4.
Right. So that doesn't exactly make, there's for and against right there.
Although
for you.
Adam Pelech being a +8 just sounds correct.
Yeah, I mean the whole team's under 50% Corsi for.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're
are they?
According to Hockey Reference,
the team as a whole is under 50%.
Well, I'm looking. Every single player individually is under 50%. So
no, come on, that's not true.
You want me to screenshot it for you?
I could have sworn Corsi 4 or Corsi 4%.
Corsi 4%.
No, that is
Fenwick. There's plenty of players above 50. Corsi, not seeing it.
Is that at 5-on-5 or in all strengths?
Looks like. Well, it looks even strength.
At 5-on-5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, even strength, so that could be 4-on-4.
Okay. Because and I'll have an article coming out on that soon. But oh yeah, you're right. Look at that. The whole team.
Well, it's not like I would just blatantly lie to you on a
you know what it is.
recorded
I
show.
wrote I just wrote the article, so you think I would remember. I wrote an article, and because I asked you if it was at all strengths or 5-on-5 at all strengths, it's much different. When you look, the team has Oliver Wahlstrom leading the way at 52.71%, Palmieri at 50.43%, and then you get into your 4-9s with Barzell, Parise, Lee. So I only questioned you because just yesterday I was writing about Oliver Wahlstrom at a 52%. And I was like, that sounds different to me, but it is because I filtered it to all strengths, and I did make a note of that in the article. It should be coming out tomorrow. Or right now, as you're listening. All right, let's talk about the defense. What was good? What's gone bad? And that's more of the same, right? But I have to say, Chara's trending upwards.
He is. I agree. Sorry, something popped up my screen. I got distracted. Yes, he is. His last 2 or 3 games, his game score has gone up. We mentioned that in the latest Isles Fix newsletter that came out Tuesday morning, the morning that we're recording this. It's trending the right direction. Helps when he gets 2 assists. His first assist with the Islanders in 20 years, which is an absolutely crazy stat. I wonder. I didn't see anything. I didn't see it from Eric Hornick. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. I just didn't see it. But I wonder if that's the longest points between. I know like Brendan Shanahan had one like that with the Devils, where it was like a really long time between points with the team. This has to be one of the longest ever in between. I didn't see it from Eric. That doesn't mean it didn't happen, like I said, but
right.
But yes, it helps that he had 2 points in a few games. Helps that you're playing with one of the better defenders on the team in Ryan Pulak. He's playing. His minutes are up. It's closer to 20 minutes. Islanders haven't been on the penalty kill a whole lot, which could account for it if it was, but it's not necessarily. So he's still kind of fumbling the puck a little bit. I think I made a note of that the other night. Very rarely does he just get the puck and it's not fumbling in front of him. And I don't. The Islanders are very good in transition. They're very good at the opposing team's blue line and keeping pucks in, making nice crisp passes, and kind of giving themselves that time. And every time he takes an extra second, it worries me like something's going to happen.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what led to the shorthanded goal against Montreal, but I know he was on the ice.
His stick broke.
All right, can't blame him for that, other than for being so tall.
Speaking of which, by the way, the Isles Fix Twitter just tweeted a fantastic photo of Chara standing next to Shaquille O'Neal. And believe it or not, Shaquille O'Neal makes Daniel Chara look small.
he makes him look human, like a regular size person.
That's insane. That is an insane picture. That the caption says, "Will we get a Shaq and Z reunion on Thursday due to the Shaq Big Chicken and UBS Arena partnership that is going down?" So that would be cool if they could get another picture like that, maybe side by side.
See in March. That game.
Yeah.
Isles on TNT in March against Tampa. It's doubling down on it.
That would be some cool stuff from Shaq and Big Z. But yeah, no, I agree with you. You know, there are definitely times where, you know, the puck is near Chara or on Chara's stick, and you know, you wince a little bit and you get a little worried. But Less so more recently. So one of the other things that I wanted to talk about on defense is Noah Dobson. It's more of the same from him, and it doesn't worry me yet because we've been saying this for a while now. He still has yet to play a full NHL season, right? We've discussed that his 2 seasons now that he's played is 1 full season combined. But he's still making some, if you will, rookie mistakes. I feel like he's been a rookie for friggin' 3 years now, but
Yeah.
he's making those mistakes of a young player, and he is a young player. He's only 21. So he shows these really good signs of being a good puck mover, a good on the power play at the point, QBing it. But then there come those little blips where he turns a puck over or whiffs on a pass, and those little things that happen in his own end sometimes become costly. But now that he's back with Green, I think that's better for his development than obviously when he was with Chara. That just wasn't working. Unfortunately, what had to happen was that the Pelech and Pulock tandem had to dismantle. Now Chara plays with Pulock and Pelech plays with Scott Mayfield, which stabilized the defense a little bit. But now comes the chatter, right? The media loves to do it. Arthur Staple loves to do it. We love to do it. Can't lie. And there is that chatter going around that Toronto is going to have to shed a defenseman. And I don't know if that's something they're looking to actively do now. I don't know if that's something Lou Lamoriello is looking to do now. But the name that keeps floating around out there is Travis Dermott. And the reason why they're making that connection with the Islanders is because when the Jack Eichel trade went down between Vegas and Buffalo, Lou Lamoriello, true to his nature, swooped in there and made it about himself and traded Johnny Boychuk's contract to Buffalo so that they can meet the cap floor. Another genius move by Lou, because he now has that $2 million in plus in cap space for himself, which accrues over time. And by the time you get to the trade deadline, it equals to something around $10 million. It's very confusing. A lot of people ask questions. Go read Cap Friendly or Puckopedia. It's out there for you. But Lou Lamoriello now has that cap space. And if they were to acquire Travis Dermott, he would actually fit within that $2 million of cap space. And seeing as how the Maple Leafs need to shed a contract, Travis Dermott at just 24 years old seems like a pretty good option to bring in on the blue line. What are your thoughts on Travis Dermott possibly skating on the Islanders blue line?
It's an option. I wonder if the timing will be the death of any kind of rumor on this, where if Lamoriello isn't ready to do it and the Leafs do need to make it happen, that Dermott won't make it to the Islanders, or at least that won't heat up.
Because it's not going to lose time.
Well, it's not about lose time in so much as if they're just not ready to do it. He may not, he may be waiting for Chara, or their push come to shove, their first thing is to go internal, is to give Aho. If Chara, it's been 10 games, so you can't fault Chara for not being, in a choppy schedule. I don't know that you can not like his game all you want, but can you blame him for it not being consistent yet? I don't think so.
No.
And it's been better when the team is playing better overall, right? Like, not just because they're playing better and he happens to be on the ice. I think he's contributing in a different way. He's actually getting assists. He's getting pucks to the net, that kind of thing.
Right.
As long as he's not taking penalties, for that matter, I suppose it's good. But so it may just not be the timing because it's early in the season. There's no panic for the Islanders. I think they're comfortable with what they have for the most part. They may go internally before they start reaching out to a trade market. If you see Aho go in and then Chara go back in really quickly, unless Chara was injured for some reason, or they say that he just needed a maintenance day or rest day or something. After that, maybe things might heat up. Not that we would know until after it happens. I believe Dermott was drafted by Lamoriello.
He was. That's
So
the connection too.
There's a connection there too. So it's possible. It's affordable. I don't know if that's the move necessarily. Like, can the Islanders get a better defenseman for that money closer to the deadline when other teams are making moves and this kind of thing?
Right.
Or is there somebody where, for $2 million and a sweetener, you can get a better defenseman than that for $2 million? Maybe. I don't know who for that money. I don't know.
That's a good point.
So that's he goes with who he knows, that kind of thing. It's all about chemistry. We've seen that and we've seen it work. This will be the most notice we've had on a player where we're able to look into it if it does happen. That for there's a lot of players we didn't really seek. We were all crossing our fingers for Palmieri. I don't think we knew anything.
Yeah,
this would be the closest we had to knowing anything that he's done other than Sorokin,
right?
And maybe all the signings this summer. But that was, I don't know, that wasn't, none of that was a surprise. This would come as a surprise. I still think it's a little too early though. My 2 cents. Judging by what Trotz has said in availability and that kind of thing about Chara and things like that, I don't think he's just blowing smoke.
No, I don't think so either. But the concern for me comes with the fact that I don't know if Dermott is the right fit. Not because he wouldn't work in the locker room, but I think it's just they're missing the puck mover. No Taze, no Letty. Aho's not playing. The blue line just still doesn't know who's the puck mover. They want it to be Dobson. He's still trying to figure it out. It's not going to be Pelech. It's not going to be Polak. His skating is not there. It's just there's so many. Scratch that. There's one problem. There's one problem, and it's that they need a puck moving defenseman. I don't know.
So is the problem less about Chara's abilities in general and more about the actual need that they have to fill out the blue line to what's worked the last 3 years?
Sure. That I would say so, yeah. Because you look at how well Mayfield plays when he has a puck mover next to him. He's playing good. He's not playing great now because he doesn't have a puck mover next to him. So I think
he has an escape artist next to him in Pelech. I'll say that.
Right.
He really. If the most fun I have watching Pelech is him escaping from an oncoming forward and twisting and turning.
Oh yeah, no. It's fantastic.
I love that.
And I will say that there have been. This isn't my report. This is, I think I saw it in Staples' article. The rumor mill already has Pelech as part of the Team Canada roster, so will be cool to see Islanders representatives in the Olympics. But anyway, yeah, Pelech has just been, same old, man. There's been a few plays this year where, he's broken up a 2-on-1 or a cross ice pass where he just batted the puck out of the area. It was just like, no, forget it. Just smacks it right down. Not getting through me. It's not.
He's just so good.
Yeah,
it's amazing how, for Islander fans, he's certainly not underrated, but maybe criminally underrated outside of that, and maybe getting him on Team Canada would help that.
Yeah, and I mean, Trotz is going to be behind the bench with Cooper, so
it's certainly possible. And Cooper knows how good he is. They had withstand 2 series against him last few years.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, going back to your point, yeah, I wonder who you need to trade and what that even looks like to get a puck moving defenseman at that point.
I don't even know, man, because what's so funny too that comes to mind for me right now is, and I don't know if this has anything to do with that. Where's Leo Komarov right now?
Hurt.
And if he wasn't hurt, he'd be playing for the Bridgeport Sound Tigers. So he's realistically on Robida Island. Let's be real. That's where he is.
Purely roster space.
I know.
Bellows has to go on waivers.
He does.
Right? So that's part of it too. They can't move unless they want to lose somebody, and they don't want to send Wallstrom down. And he and Dobson are the only ones that are waiver exempt.
Yeah.
No. Right?
It is he and Dobson that are the only ones.
So, not happening. Unless somebody leaves the Islanders roster, the current roster, plus something from Bridgeport or whatever, prospect or pick or whatever, we're looking at the roster.
And that's my question is, does he figure out a way to move that $3 million in Leo Komarov?
I don't know where it goes.
Yeah.
Certainly
Arizona?
Certainly as a way to open up the space, but I don't know who wants that. I mean, it is only the rest of the year.
You know, Christian Arnold the other day indicated that there are some early season trade targets for defense, and he listed Jacob Chikrin as one of them. I'm not saying Leo Komarov retrieves you a Jacob Chikrin, who has, by the way, 0 points in 10 games for Arizona. But I mean,
on the worst team, on one of the more historically bad teams ever. Yeah,
right.
What a surprise! I keep seeing that. I forget, somebody tweeted at me the other day about that. After this year, I think in the first 2 rounds, Arizona has like 6 picks this summer. I don't see moving a player like that and there's no reason to start all the way from scratch. So having somebody like Chikrin around, plus these picks coming up and other prospects of the last few years, doesn't totally make sense. They have a lot of money coming off the books this summer in Arizona. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I have to admit. I say that, and I think people think that means I don't want it to happen.
No, of course we want Jacob Chikrin.
Yeah, I want them to get Jack Eichel too. That fucking, like, come on. Which we're like, I don't even know if we're gonna have time to talk about tonight. But like, yeah, of course, if they could have made, duh, hit me over the head with that, right? Like, of course, I want Chikrin or Ekholm. Is it likely? No,
right?
No, and not necessarily because Lou doesn't think they fit in the locker room or some other reason. It's just not likely to happen. This may be news to people. The other team has to agree to the trade.
No, I thought Lou Lamoriello just says, "I'm taking this guy," and you're not going to say anything about it. Yeah, I mean that also actually might be true.
It's possible. He just calls up other GMs. He's like, "Hey,
I want this guy."
He doesn't have a New York accent. He has a Boston accent, which I'm not going to attempt to do. But something to the Boston version of "I'm going to throw you in a dumpster," whatever that is. I imagine that. I imagine that's what he says. I'm going to throw you in the East River. So I don't. I'm gonna send you to Staten Island on the ferry, one way trip.
I'll meet you there.
Yeah.
See you at the dump.
I believe that's the nickname of the only hockey rink on Staten Island is the dump. I'm just kidding. The frozen garbage water. No, but yeah, it's like I think it's a surprise to people that like the other team has to agree to not want. They're not just like Leo Komarov and the washing machine from the Nassau Coliseum is like, oh, what do you mean the other team doesn't want that? And you're like,
yeah.
Turns out no. I know you're shocked that didn't just happen, but they have to, Komarov is an easy one this year to trade because it's this year and that's over. So it's possible that's part of a cap dump to get space, but that means it's Komarov plus a thing to get rid of that space.
Well, let's talk about plus a thing, right? Because the Islanders have an intriguing player who's playing down in Bridgeport right now, who has 5 goals in 8 games and is looking like a pretty good offensive player in North America. Anatolii Golyshev is playing real good, but like you said, You look up and down the lineup, he don't fit. Where's he going to go? So at this point, does Anatolii Golyshev become a trade chip? And does Arizona bite on that? Because he's just 26. I think, I could be mistaken, but I think he's an RFA at the end of the season anyway. So they can retain him.
I think Staple mentioned something, and this is what got me kind of looking into Golyshev to begin with. He likely won't stick around the AHL. If the Islanders want to get something out of him, Bridgeport winning a thing doesn't mean anything. Look at Toronto; they won the Calder Cup a couple years ago. It means absolute jack shit. Unless you're Tampa Bay, apparently, where they make it really far, and Syracuse is really good, and Tampa then also is really good because they have a nice system in general. Even if the Crunch aren't doing well, Tampa's doing well, so that's fine. But they need to get an asset for him. He's not doing any good in Bridgeport just being there.
I agree.
So that's they're going to lose him for nothing.
I mean, I don't know.
At the end of the season, or he may just go back to the KHL, and then his rights are not worth anything if he's not coming back to North America.
What was the point in bringing him over at the end of his KHL season last season? Have him, hang around, come to training camp, go to Bridgeport, for him to just go back. There's gotta be something else going on.
I'll put it to you this way, some perspective. As far as I can tell, Lou Lamoriello cannot tell the future. And he probably did not know Parise would be available. So you bring him over because he's an asset, and it makes sense because he's good, and you drafted him, and you want to see him in North America in person. You don't know that a player that maybe fits the dynamic and the chemistry of your team in Parise will be available, and that you'll be able to move some money around and make it all happen, and yada, yada, yada. Thus, Parise on the roster, Golyshev not on the roster. They both had an opportunity in training camp together.
Yeah.
They put these lines together, all this stuff. So I think before Parise, yes, I think it's completely fair to say what's going on here. If Bellows was absolutely just not playing well, or Kamov was in the lineup not playing well, and you had Golyshev in Bridgeport playing well, and you're like, what are we doing here? That third line is a different kind of black hole. Wallstrom can't produce like this, blah blah blah. Yeah, I can totally see your point. The Islanders roster is not a problem at this point. Right. Parise not scoring, as we've said, isn't a problem. It would be a good addition, but that's not why the Islanders have lost games. It's not been because of Parise. Thus, he's an asset. I don't know if it's Komrov and Golyshev to Arizona for something, or if that's a package somewhere else. We can do a better job heading into the next episode and look at trade ship thing. But I think it's too early for that. I don't think
maybe
unless it was hair on fire, just absolutely not playing well. If the Islanders are just squeaking out wins, they're shutting teams out. Well, yes, Sorokin is playing well. That's also defensive work. That's also not a lot of high danger chances. That's also making sure the puck's out of the zone. That's also keeping the pucks to the outside, limiting opportunities. The Wild game was an outlier this season, I think, for the Islanders, without, from memory, save for the first two games where the Islanders just overall didn't play very well. I think it's just too early. We still have a few weeks before Thanksgiving, a couple weeks anyway before Thanksgiving. The Islanders have plenty of games in hand. It's just not time to do that. Now, time might be running out with Golyshev. That, I think, was Staples' point.
Yeah.
That might not mean... That means that they could trade him for a second-round pick.
Which
can get leverage to something else.
At the trade deadline.
So he may not be the means to the end. He may or he may be in the process, an indirect means to the end.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. It really is.
It's possible. I don't see him spending that much time in the AHL, especially 5 goals in 8 games.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. It's a good point. All right, coming up this week, Thursday night, New Jersey Devils at 7 p.m. Tampa Bay Lightning Monday. I said coming up this week. It's coming up within the week. Tampa Bay Lightning on Monday at 7 p.m. and the following day on Tuesday, Florida Panthers 7 p.m.
The Devils are up 7-3 on the Panthers right now.
Oh wow, look at that.
So, as we said, Devils they're 5-3-2 this season, matching the Islanders. The goal differential is a little bit different. They're at a -4, the Islanders at a +2. But that is going to change tonight. It looks like at the very least they'll be even, kind of taking down the top team in the Atlantic Division, who finally lost a game. Now there are no longer undefeated teams in the league.
Yeah, the Panthers are sneaky. I'm sorry, the New Jersey Devils are sneaky good. No Jack Hughes, he got hurt, but
He was
Dawson Mercer looks real good for them. Got Dougie Hamilton now, so Ryan Graves is playing well. They got Mackenzie Blackwood back, I believe, at a full-time capacity. So things are going decently in an upward direction for the Devils, who I think at the moment, as they're playing right now, are below the Islanders in the standings, but they'll probably be above them after they likely win this game.
With a game in hand.
So they'll see us on Thursday night.
The entire Metro Division is above 500.
It's banana lands out here.
It truly.
It really is. It's banana lands out here. It's like, how could you imagine going the rest of the season this way and having teams above 500 miss playoffs? Oh.
There's in the Atlantic 2 teams, Ottawa, Montreal. I know you're shocked. Are the only teams below 500. 6 other teams in the Atlantic are above 500. And then, the Central, only 4 of 8 teams are above. Everyone else is below. And then the Pacific, all but 2 teams are below. I'm sorry, only 2 teams are below. Maybe I said the same thing twice. I can't remember.
Hockey teams are getting better.
Yeah, it's the parity thing. They want to make it interesting every single night. Helps with the betting thing that they're getting into. So that's just good. It makes it not make sense most of the time because the best team isn't always the best teams aren't always winning. But Columbus is 7-3. Watch out there. That everyone kind of had them pegged. It's still 10 games into the season.
Yeah.
Buffalo is also 5-5, although they've lost. They're not looking great as of just recently, but yeah, a little crazy. Boston's not looking great. They've also just they played less games than the Islanders. They only played 9 games.
Interesting. They're playing right now.
So their 10th game tonight, and they're squeaking one out against Ottawa, which is interesting. But yeah, upcoming week for the Islanders, not necessarily easy. Only getting more difficult.
Yeah, well, but the good news is they're on the tail end of their 13-game road trip, which I think we all agreed, or I shouldn't say we all, I think you and I agreed that we all made a little bit more of it than we should have due to how much time off they had in between. But it's finally coming to an end. Only 3 games left on the road, and then they will have 4 in a row at home. Back on the road for a little bit, but it will be a sight for sore eyes to see some Islander blue jerseys on the ice. So that's coming up next week. Next week, the UBS Arena will be open. I feel like I can't emphasize that enough. Feels good.
It's a little surreal, honestly.
It is. It's definitely a little surreal. It feels. I don't know. I can't even. It's like we're finally going to be out of the where are the Islanders going to play era. It's over.
I mean, I think the entire organization, it's who are the owners going to be? What's the general manager? Like, there's no the goaltending. That carousel is done.
Yep.
The
Islanders are an organization now. They're actually the embodiment of the word organization.
And I heard I was listening to Steve Dangle earlier today, and they were talking about UBS and all this other stuff, and they said a lot of positive things about Islanders fans, how passionate they are, but there aren't a lot of them, so we make up for it, like a lot like Mets fans. I think we make up for it by bringing twice as much energy. And I think that's right. I don't think there are as many Islander fans as there are Ranger fans. I at this point can't tell you why. They both won the same number of cups. There are lots of people that live in the metro area. It's not like there's not enough fans to kind of like split it up in some capacity. Yeah, you hope that UBS and the team doing better, they start filling the arena just in general, just more often. That that sellouts are a regular thing for a team that's making the Eastern Conference Final 2 years in a row and winning 5 playoff rounds, 6 if you count the play-in.
Yeah.
That market share for the Islanders should easily grow. What they're able to do out on Long Island, they have a new practice facility. Like everything that you want for this team is kind of players want to sign there for long term. Maybe not at the right age that we're looking for necessarily. We're hoping maybe, not everybody anyway, but most of them they're signing at the right age and that kind of thing. There's a larger core and there's one even below that I think has as you mentioned at other points has a little bit longer of a window. A little bit more changeover might happen over that time period. But yeah, this is just kind of the cherry on top of it all. They've come a long way, like an incredibly, incredibly long way.
Yep. And now it's coming full circle next Saturday.
Yeah, it'll be fantastic. I'm excited to watch, if only on TV.
Yep. I think
Is
that's
that it
for us.
Are we good?
Yep. I think that's it.
How do we just wrap it up? It feels like so long between episodes. Maybe a post game. Maybe we'll do the episode post game on Tuesday since it's back to back.
Yeah, we could do that.
It's late and my bedtime and daylight saving. It's dark. It's a lot of darkness. We'll see. Not next. Yeah, next week. It has a lot of darkness.
Yeah.
Everything's thrown off now. It's bad news.
All right.
I hate it.
Before you make our listeners depressed, I want to say thank you to DraftKings and Manscaped.
Whoa. Shots fired. Come on. This episode is brought to you by Mustache Rides. Untrimmed by Manscaped.
Yep. There you go.
I'm sorry.
Speaking of Manscaped, we want to say thank you to DraftKings and Manscaped. Use that THPN promo code with DraftKings and that NHP promo code with Manscaped. To the Hockey Podcast Network and to Isles Fix. And of course, all of you, our listeners, please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to or watch the show. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube at Assaman Hockey. You can also join our Discord for a safe space to chat with fellow Islander fans. Lastly, you can find my work at the Fourth Period and John's work as the Hockey Writers collectively as well at Isles Fix. And until next time, everybody, let's go Islanders.